are again. So, more and more changes as we dance our way through this world. Yeah.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I had some information that was channeled to me about, I think it was about 2 weeks ago now, and they said from the 1st of April, you'll start to see some significant changes in what's going on. It's quite positive. And we've seen the government being here in Austria have had to halt this very draconian measures that they've been taking. Um, Strangely
Mm.
enough, by the far right party who have stopped the draconian measures, and then the British government is the Johnson, Whitty, and Ferguson are being brought to court for criminal prosecution from a group of lawyers who for creating a false pandemic. Don't know where that's going to lead.
Yay.
In the
Well, let's
USA,
just hope.
a
Let's just.
class action against
Mm-hmm.
uh, all these people. So it's, we got a long way to go with this, but I can tell you this, that more and more people are stopping living in fear and raising their vibration unbeknown to them. But the fact that
Mm.
they've stopped living in fear, and now that's beginning to have an effect. It's beginning to change the consciousness of people. So
Absolutely.
it's really good news. We just got to hold our strength.
Mm-hmm.
So there
That's
you are.
right.
That's
You know,
I'll get off the pulpit now.
well, let's just turn this into a spiritual rant, okay?
Yeah,
The thing that people are most waking up to, Mike, is what I think is that they're starting to realize that they all have self-worth, they all have self-appreciation, and most of all, they all have free will. They're getting sick and tired of being told what they can and can't do without seeing any sort of penalty,
yeah,
ramification, or dire consequence of their actions.
yeah,
I will never say that this is not a real virus. It is a real virus. But compared to the statistics of the real statistics that are coming out of a percentile of how many people are getting it, how many of those people are actually dying from it. And then you look at how they're dying. Have they got other causes or pre-existing conditions, and what sort of medications are they getting when they get into hospital? Because they've now said that people who go onto the ventilators, it's virtually a deathbed for them, because the ventilators is not the way to get rid of this virus. You look at people like Trump, who has had it, high-profile people. He did not get a respirator. He did not get the vaccine. He did not use any of these other drugs that they were saying. He used ivermectin and that
chlorine.
chlorine.
Yeah,
And now they're banning those two drugs because they don't want us to be healthy. They want the
yeah.
figures.
You're kidding me,
Because
surely.
I
Surely,
don't kid anyone, Mike.
surely the government wants the best for our health, Linda. You're a
Come on.
conspiracy theorist. Come on. Yeah, yeah. But you know what? We're in.
You know, I will just go there, Mike. It is a very, very seldom and rare day when I become quiet.
Right.
And you just shut me up.
Yeah.
There you go. You just shut me up.
Well,
But we're not alone. That's the beauty of this. Spiritual people are waking up. They're seeing what the government is creating, like that matrix that we're all talking about, the red and
yeah,
the blue pill that everyone talks about. And once you start going down that rabbit hole, guys, it is an extremely hardback climb out of that hole
yeah,
to the reality of what you once thought it was.
yeah,
Because once we start getting these little nicks and little cracks in that veil, and we work out that everything's not as it appears, then you start doubting everything. You really
yeah.
do. You
You
start
you
doubting
you can't
everything.
you can't unsee once you've seen, and it's very much like seeing a ghost. You can deny it, but you can't unsee it. You've
That's
seen it, and
exactly
that
right.
And so
that is exactly right.
You can live in denial, but at some point,
yep. I always say the atheists out there amongst us, Mike, they're the ones who have never had a psychic or a paranormal experience, because the day that they do, they won't be atheists anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're down that rabbit hole. So yay to waking up.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well,
yay to waking up.
Let's talk about what we got on the show. We got this
yes,
poltergeist visitation, and I actually whipped this off of your Dr. Lynda Cramer paranormal thing.
I don't mind.
It's
steal away. You can take whatever you like from me, darling.
It's it's okay. I wouldn't live in the house personally. Then we got the visitation of Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper, you may remember in the film They Live. I've just put it up there. He's the guy on the left. A brilliant documentary by his own words.
It is a documentary. It is. There is nothing fictional about that movie.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you for saying it's a documentary.
And then we've got a Dinner with an Angel, which me and you discussed. And you're going to explain the difference here between an angel, a visitation, a ghost, a spirit, etc., etc. Very, 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 very moving, actually.
Oh, darling, it's a tissue moment. When I watched it a couple of times this week, and every time, you watch a movie and it makes you cry, and then you watch it again and you lose that emotional attachment to it.
Yeah.
But with that video that we're going to show tonight, guys, the more I watched it, the more I cried, because it was the more I was fathoming what was actually happening in this clip that we see. So, get your tissues ready, because I bawled when I watched it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to also have a little short clip there of Shirley McClain just talking about her experience, knowing of her past lives and coming from Atlanta. And here we also have, there she is, the Long Island medium, Teresa Caputo. She's having experiments to show what a psychic's brain is like, how different it is. And I'll talk more about that after, because the movie Superhuman actually goes into this. And the piece of equipment you're going to see, I know someone who's got this equipment, and we did healing before and after. And you see a complete difference in the auric field around the person. So, and then we're going to look at the work of Concitta Bertoldi.
Yeah, Bertoldi. Yeah, so, you're right.
So there we are.
Hey, you're the Italian. You're supposed to know this one.
True. It's I've got a family called Baldelli, and that was the first thing that was on my mind. So I figured we'd get the creepy one out the way first.
Let's do the creepy one first.
And
well, it's still early for us all. Before the lights go dim and the scary, suspenseful music starts. Hang on, let me just cue the music.
Well, here we go. And please comment, tell us what you think as well. Here we go.
Please.
Coming up.
Lights were flickering inside the refrigerator, and I thought that was strange. I had never seen it before. But what really creeped me out was the light in the bathroom started flickering, and I heard water running. So I kind of snuck around the corner, and the water was on. As I started to walk away from the bathroom after cutting the water off, I kind of heard something behind me, and that was actually this door here that closed. That's when I really truly got freaked out.
Cody walks outside and calls his girlfriend to tell her what's been going on. She tells him to stay out of the house.
I said, well, look, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to keep filming because I don't know what to expect.
And when he does, he finds the kitchen in total disarray.
All the chairs were on the floor, knocked over. All the cabinets were open. Nope. I said, nope, I'm going back outside. I don't know what this is. I got scared.
After 2 hours, Cody finally musters up the courage to go back inside the house.
I went through every single room looking for somebody, thinking maybe somebody had gotten in and they were just trying to scare me. I checked every room, under every bed.
He doesn't find anyone.
The fourth or fifth time I had watched the video, I noticed something in the corner of the room, which is actually my daughter's room. So I screenshotted it and I just zoomed in on it. My heart just dropped. I could feel my face, all the blood in my face ran. I mean, it scared me. It just looked like somebody watching me. I didn't sleep that night.
If I captured something like that, I would not be going back in my home. I mean, at all. Without a team of investigators and possibly a priest for exorcism purposes.
This is such a classic horror movie moment.
Nope.
As humans, we assume to look around at our eye level and see what's going on. So we are missing the thing that's right above us. And in this case, that's the scariest part.
I often talk about spirits in the home being benevolent, being helpful, not to panic. But when I see something like this, when I see that upside down head peering into the main room, I got to admit, a part of me does start to panic.
This face in the door frame is coupled with all of this poltergeist activity. That's an escalation. And what's so scary about that is if it's a poltergeist, this isn't like some ghost trying to talk to you. This is a manifestation of the house. Like the house has created that image for you to see.
So, do you go along with that, Lynda, that the house has manifested that energy? I know homes do have their own energy and are quite capable, but I tend to think this is something that's decided to attach itself.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's, it's like saying, oh, my computer mouse is haunted. Something has attached to this to make it haunted. So the house hasn't created that. Okay, I'll just explain here. You can have a house where you walk into let's just say you're house hunting, okay? You're going to buy a new house. So you go to an empty house. And as soon as you walk through that front door, you instantly feel that negativity, that denseness of the atmosphere, that paranoia that something's watching you. You'll get the hairs sticking up on your arms, etc. All that common paranormal side effects, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, is it the house that's doing it or the energy that's retaining itself in that house that is now still manifesting? Right. That's the avenue I prefer to take because I don't think a house has a conscious thought to create this itself. No. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for her to say that the house has manifested this, I don't think so. No. You'll probably go back into the history of who's lived there previously. Someone's either been using Ouija boards, which for me is a big no-no, especially if you don't know what you're doing. They've probably been doing something like watching Ghost Adventures or some other show on a Friday night and thinking, oh, this is cool, we'll concoct something here as well. They may have been doing some sort of spell work. There's a lot of different options of what humans could have been doing in that house to bring those entities in. And the other thing I want to say here, ghosts can't fly. They can't just crawl up walls and look down through the doorway. So if that is real footage, that's not a ghost.
No.
They've got something far worse in that house. And when you start talking D's, like Matt Damon, because I don't like saying the name of them in my house because they're not allowed here, but they don't spend the time and effort on a mortal human being who's only existing for a blink in their eternity of a lifetime. Yeah. So they don't waste time on humans unless the humans actually call them in and summons them. So please, guys, if you don't want this sort of activity in your house, stay clear of anything that can bring in any sort
Yeah.
of entities.
Mm.
You know, Mike has got over half a century invested in what he does. Same with me now. So we've got we've got over a century of collective
The bat phone.
experience here. My phone is actually ringing, yeah, even though I've muted it. Sorry, so I was just looking. So I'll just, oh God, I can't do that. I just accepted it. I just hung up on them. Oops, sorry, Craig. That's my neighbour, by the way. So basically, in a nutshell, guys, to get back on point here, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it.
No.
You can't do it
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you're going to bring in. It's not just your dead grandmother or your best friend from high school who just died. You won't be just bringing in those entities, because there's so many different realms of entities out there in the multi-dimensional planes. So I do love the fact that he went and got video footage that shows some sort of evidence here, but was it staged? We don't know.
We don't know.
So I'll assume here that it is real footage. So at the end of the day, if there was something there that's making all that activity occur, he did the right thing by leaving.
Yeah.
You get out, you keep yourself safe, because we're always number one. Me is always number one.
Yeah.
So you keep yourself safe and you call in the big guns, whether it's a professional spirit guided psychic or a medium like Mike and myself, or you're calling in the archangels from above to protect you and to clear it out, because they sometimes do it as well. But you always call in the big guns. You know, you don't just sit there and say, oh, yeah, this is really cool, I'm just going to sit inside, because then the chair will throw at you and the next thing you're in the ER. In traction with multiple fractures if you're still alive.
Yeah.
Because these things, they don't just play mamby-pamby. You know, if they really want to hurt you, they can severely hurt you.
Yeah.
So be warned, guys. You know, and I'm really grateful that Mike's shown this one first, so we can get the nasty out of the way, so we have it as an uplifting show tonight. But, you know, we are the paranormal here. We discuss everything. So, of course, we've got to throw these nasties out there just to make people aware, you know, because there's so many wannabe psychics out there. There's so many wannabe ghost hunters, tarot readers, Reiki enthusiasts, you name it. You know, there's so many wannabe spiritual people out there. Unless you know what you're doing and you're training yourself and you're collecting the evidence to support what you're doing, don't go there. You know, it's good to have a hobby, but tag along with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean,
you know?
in this case, you don't want to dabble. You need to know exactly what you're doing here with this one, and your ego can get you in trouble. You know, for me, I don't think I'd like to tackle this now, because I don't do that work anymore.
No.
So
If someone rang me, just say, I'm just going to put it out there, Mike. If someone rang me and said, here's the footage of those took at my house, as soon as I saw that thing above the doorway, I'd be saying, nope, I'm not going there.
Yeah. I mean, I would do it remotely.
Easy. I'd do it remotely.
Yeah.
I'd probably get a few of my friends together. I wouldn't, but what I mean is I would not go there alone.
No.
You know, I do go to a lot of houses by myself where they say, oh, I've got a ghost here. Can you come and have a chat and see who it is? Sure, I love those ones. Yeah. But when they had got something in their house like that, there is no way known I'm going alone.
No.
Because I always pack the big guns. You know, I stick my guardian angels. I get my spirit guides. I get the archangels on my back. Yeah. And then I'll also get 2 or 3 other people that I know that are virtually in the same experience field as I am, and then we go and so we can do our collective energy work in the house. You know, so don't throw your ego into it, guys, at all. Whenever you come across something like this, you know, it's better to run away and stay safe than to be like a dead hero at the end of the day.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
because you don't know the possibilities of what could happen there. You know?
For me, I feel I can do a better job remotely. It's something that I've been pushed into that direction of doing, remote healing, remote clearing. And as I say, if anybody looked through the window while I was doing this remote cleaning, and they think, who is this nut job here? But yeah.
I wouldn't, Mike. You know, man.
So that's the thing, and I think you can help remotely. I don't know anyone who's got in trouble
Yeah,
through doing remote healing and remote house clearing. Don't know anyone.
that's right.
So that's
Mm.
something if you want to
Yeah,
consider doing. So
that's right. Well, I do, you know, I do a lot of Skype now, and the good thing about me is I'm a medical intuitive. But I don't call myself that, because when you Google it, it's only someone who senses the injuries in someone else.
Yeah.
I actually see the injuries in someone else.
Right.
So like you right now, Mike, if I had your consent, because I always get consent, if I asked you to stand up, I could actually see inside you, look around your heart, look around all the arteries, look around your liver, your kidneys, and all the other bones and arteries and tendons and etc. in your body, and I can see injuries in there. So I can do that remotely, you know, and that works really well. You know, that's one of my little niches on my list of what I can do. So, you know, when you say you can heal remotely, I don't even have a hesitation of doubt, because I know what I'm capable of. You know, hello, I fixed my own brain tumor and I've got a broken neck. Right. You know, I should be a quadriplegic. As soon as I say that to people, they go, what? Yeah. You know, so between you and me, darling, you know, we don't have to justify what we've done. The only thing that you and I are good at, you know, that we can offer to anyone is the advice on how to do it themselves, how to protect themselves, and if in doubt, come and talk to us. Yeah. You know, because you're open and approachable, I'm open and approachable. So anyone that's listening for the first time, Mike's in Austria, I'm in Australia. You know, we're here every Wednesday morning or good evening, wherever you are on the planet.
Well, we're an hour ahead of you now. It's now 11:24. Sorry, an hour ahead of you. I normally do the show at 10 a.m. for me, 7 for you, but they put the clocks forward, so it's now 11:24 in
So we started at 7 p.m. my time. So is that now 11 for you? Is it?
11.
I'm just going to 11 a.m. Austria. Yeah. Is 7 p.m. Brisbane. Yeah. Okay.
Because here in Europe, someone had the smart idea that we get more light, as it were, later on. You know, and an Native American Indian said only the white man can cut off the top of the blanket, sew it on the bottom, and think he's got more blanket. You know.
That's like these idiots here that say, "Oh, we get an extra hour of sunbaking."
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Well, apparently Jeff says your clocks go back this weekend, so there we are.
Ours don't.
No.
Ours don't change because we don't have daylight saving here because we're the smart state.
Oh, there we are. Look,
we're actually called the smart state.
It's 5:30 a.m. somewhere in the world there for Samantha.
Wow.
Where Samantha is.
Wow.
And it's 8 p.m. in Melbourne. Yeah. Oh, well, we're crossing all kinds of timelines here. So, well, anyway, look, should we go on with this next piece here with Roddy Piper?
Absolutely, because I am going to like this one. Yep. Are you showing the little clip of him first from the movie?
So just to give you guys a head up, I don't know anyone who doesn't know this, but this is Roddy Piper on the left, and that's what you see when you put the glasses on, and the picture on the right. It's from the which he quite rightly calls the documentary They Live. And so before we play the clip, I'm just going to play you probably the most memorable clip from the movie. So here we go. And then if you see this, you might recall what the movie was. Here we go.
Yep.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
So that was just a little clip there. That was my favourite scene. So this is the heads up here. Roddy Piper, sadly no longer with us. Passed in 2015 of a heart attack. This dramatisation, wrongly in my opinion, calls it a ghostly encounter. I don't believe it was, and I'll tell you why after. So there
Sure,
we go.
let's go there.
So anyway, before we do, Sally
Yep.
Chapman says, loved it when he thought the girl in the bar was so hot, then he put the glasses on. Yeah. Yeah, so
Oh, come on. We'll go there. The hotel scene where the lady and the man are doing naughties and he gets the sunglasses on and he realizes what he's being naughty with. That's the scene.
Yeah. I mean, for me,
oh God, it's so funny.
For me, that whole bit there, the chewing gum scene, was just a classic for me.
I know.
But
I know. Just walking in, chewing the gum.
Well, okay.
La-di-da.
Let's.
Okay.
I put this.
Let's have a look at this.
Let's have a look at this Roddy Piper one. Here we go.
Sure.
One night, my one daughter, Ariel, she woke up and she'd say that a man was looking at her. Colt saw shadows. And he would hear things, and he was like the little protector of the house, but he was so scared. I'm on the road. I'm getting this from my wife on the phone, and she just was getting all out of kilter. One night, I'm coming home from the airport. It's about 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. I pull in the driveway, and there's my son, Cole. He's just trembling. He's so scared. And all he can say is, I saw a man in the house. And he saw the man go past the glass as I pulled in. And he can hardly get anything out.
Stay right here.
My son's telling me that somebody was inside my house. And I came in that house as a dad. My kids, they seen so much to the point where they just started living with it.
I have a feeling we're going to talk to a lot of people. Whatever he's experiencing, it must be pretty deep.
So many guys are dying.
How would you feel if he came and gave you a message?
I don't know how I feel about that.
He said when you come here in this room, you always are hoping for something to happen. Is he exposing you right now?
Yeah. Come on, I got someone I want you to meet.
Hi. I've
Kim
been
Russo.
watching you
This is
guys
my
around.
wife.
Anxious to meet you.
Same here. Nice to meet you. So far, we're having a lovely chat, and you know what I keep sensing? I keep sensing that you encounter something quite a bit in this home, like a vision or a presence, or your children did.
My kids see shadows downstairs all the time and think someone is in the hallway, but they get up to look and there's never anyone there. My experience was upstairs in a situation like that.
I have to tell you, I just feel it. This is like a hotbed over here. There's a lot to sort through. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
God bless, hon. I hope to see you a little bit later, okay?
Yeah, maybe, okay.
All right.
You be nice now.
So where is this amazing room that I'm seeing in my vision that has wood-paneled walls?
Oh, come on.
I keep seeing that, and I'm being drawn to it.
Come on, come on.
Oh, good. You're going to show me.
I'm gonna show you. Back in the day, here, as the kids would be watching TV, they saw shadows or whatever they saw. Lights, the volume would come on the TV all of a sudden, or things changed.
This is the room that I was seeing. This is it. Exact.
Fallon, the youngest one, has experienced the most or speaks about the most. It's the shadow of a man. And I tried to get her to explain it to me. And she said, well, if you were to cast a shadow on the ground, but the shadow was standing up. And then as we go past here, again, they would see shadows passing by constantly.
Somebody else just joined us in my conversation. He comes from a family with a lot of children. He's like telling me he's one of, I don't know, 12, 13 kids. Well, it sounds to me like what I'm hearing is something with an O, very strong O. He's like hitting you on the top of the head. He's like, you know me.
Okay, so let me tell you, okay, a little bit of research here, and we find out that the person who is visiting him is somebody called Owen Hart, who happens to be a family member. I'm not sure if it's on his wife's side or his side, but his family. And Owen Hart was also a wrestler like Roddy Piper. And so there would have been the banging on the head, which they would have done. He actually died in a stunt that the management want him to do. He was being harnessed down onto the stage where the fight was going to take place, and the harness broke and he dropped the equivalent of 4 stories and died.
Wow.
And so the O is the Owen, and he had about 10, family of 10, something like that. So I just feel that was misrepresented as a ghostly experience. It is a little bit naughty of the spirit of Owen to do that and scare people. Once he knew they were scared. So I'm not sure if he was settled yet on the other side when all that was taking place, but over to you.
Well, this is the thing, Mike, you know, we get scared, we get terrified, you know, it's only because of the unknown. We don't know what it is. So that's why you've got to research. That's why you've got to get somebody in who is a medium, who can communicate or pick up on those imprints of who the person is, because I'm pretty sure as soon as he found out that was his friend Owen, he would have just been walking in there and saying, hey Owen, where are you today?
Yeah.
You know, totally different person would have come out of that.
Yeah.
But that's not what got me intrigued with that footage. I watched it the other day when I got it, and at 4:14, which, hello, people watching this, you won't see the timestamp, but it's when they go into the wooden room. He's standing in the doorway with the girl on his right. If you look at the wall to the left at 4:14, there is something that comes onto the wall. So instantly I thought, oh my God, that is a head, because it looked to me like it was like a torso with a head on it.
Right.
So I rewound it, watched it again, rewound it, watched it again, rewound it, watched it again, paused it, and it's actually a square box, which would be a reflection of some of the equipment that the video people were using.
Right.
Bugger poo buggers. Because I thought we'd caught something when he did that documentary.
Right.
So it's not paranormal, guys.
Right.
But just to show you how we debunk this, you got to rewind, watch it, slow it down, speed it up, zoom in, and then you realise what it could actually be instead of just being a hope of paranormal or pareidolia. Pareidolia is when we see faces in things, because obviously as soon as I saw this square on the wall, I was thinking, oh my God, that's a head, because it did represent like a head figure. And I was thinking, oh my God, so it's pareidolia at its best at 4:14 if you want to go back and look at it again. Just as he goes down the stairs and he walks into the room and he's got the doorway behind him, you'll see it on the left-hand side, guys, if you do want to rewind it and watch it again later. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
Because it had me intrigued.
Yeah.
I was thinking, oh, yes, Mike, you didn't even see it. You know, I love watching videos where people say, oh, look, can you look at this? And I say, well, I found that. And they go, my God, how did I not see that?
Yeah.
So that was one of those moments.
Yeah, I mean, clearly though, this Owen Hart fella wanted to communicate with Roddy Piper.
Absolutely.
He could have done a better way instead of scaring the bejeebers out of the family.
But see, this is the thing, though. They're obviously still confused. They're frustrated. You know, he might be standing there for 6 months. Hey, Roddy! Hey, Roddy! And he's not understanding why Roddy's just walking past him and not saying hello back. So he says, well, stuff you, mate. I'll throw a pen at you. Or, you know, so then so, of course, you know, you've got to understand the psychology of this guy. He didn't just appear that first day. He would have been there for probably months prior to the kids actually seeing him, you know? So I could understand his frustration in there. I could understand why he was getting annoyed with the fact that you're supposed to be my friend and you're not even talking to me anymore. What's with that, man? You know, I'll start throwing something at you or moving things around so I get your attention, you know? But the best advice to anyone watching this is if you do have something happening in your house, try and work out who it is. You know, use dowsing rods, use your candle. You know, you light a candle and you say, can you please blow on it? Yes or no responses. Is this my friend Owen? You know, as an example, you know. So you'll get put sand out at night and try and capture footprints or trigger items. You know, if there's something in your house, you know, find something and say, hey, I'm going out for a couple of hours. Can you have this moved when I get back to see if they can know how to use their energy to move objects? You know, because that's what I do in my house a lot.
I
mean, I always put out trigger items.
We did that in our old circle. We would just take a plastic spoon and draw the outline of the spoon on a piece of white paper, and we would leave the spoon out of the way of everybody so nobody could touch this. And at the end of the evening, we'd go back and have a look to see if it moved. Quite often it did. Sometimes it didn't.
Yes.
But it's most likely it would, because you're in that energy, you're in that idea of communicating with spirits, and somebody is going to want to say, here I am.
That's right.
This
well,
is for me to move.
Here's a simple one, guys. You just get a piece of paper, right? Normal piece of paper. Put sand all over it, right? Put sand all over it so it's nice and flat. And then you just put something on it like a pen onto the sand. So when you get home, you'll see the difference in the sand, whether it's or salt. You know, something what's the word for it, that's small and heaps of them, you know, sand, salt, that sort of dirt even would work, you know, to see if they leave like a footprint in it or some other imprint, you know. If they can touch it, they'll put their fingerprints into it, so then, you know, like a child touching it. Or they try and pick up the piece of whatever trigger item you've got on there. So, you know, that's a great experiment that you can do in your own home.
And if you've got...
film it.
If you've got a draft-proof room, then a ping pong ball in one particular place, because that's quite easy to move. Jeff says granular. There you are.
That's the word I was looking for. Yes, something granular. Yes.
Super.
Yep.
Okay, before we move on, Lynda, about your neighbour Roy. So, I mean, because I was looking at this clip and I was thinking, Roy's not particularly happy with what's going on next door. But
here's his cupboard, by the way. That's his cupboard. I got that this week. I've just dumped it here in my office. I've cleansed it. I've cleaned it. That is totally two different things, guys. I've cleaned the dirt off it and the dirt and grime, and then I've cleansed it with salt, my singing bowl and my sage, and I did some prayers on it anyway to get any energy off it, just in case there was nasties on it. So now it's here in my office. He's not happy. He's not happy. You know, they've cleaned out his house now. It's been vacant now for about 3 years since he died. There's nothing in the house.
Literally, his heart and soul, from what I understand, he physically built it.
Yeah, he built that house. You know, he was telling me he was hammering the nails. He put in the carpet. He painted the walls. He was helping the, doing the, what do they call it, weatherboard and gyprock or whatever you want to call it, on the walls and painting it. So he did a lot of time and effort in that house, probably about 30-something years ago when he built it back in the late 80s. And You know, it's psychological for me because, you know, I knew him when I moved in here.
Yeah.
I'd take him to the doctors. I was taking him to the hospital, taking him for groceries, that sort of stuff. I've been in his house many times. But now that they've been in there and finally, after 3 years, they've cleaned the whole place out, I still look over there and expect to see his TV on because he still turned, you know, his lights would turn on, his TV would turn on. You'd hear the clumping of the saucepans in the sink because his kitchen is so close to my backyard.
Right.
But now it's weird noises. You know, it's not like just picking up an object and, you know, I'll just make one here near my microphone. If you could hear that, you know, that's just me dropping my mouse. I'll do it again. So it's not sort of that bang. It's more of a bang where you cannot locate the source of the noise.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'll go out there and you don't know whether it was from the left or the right of his house. You know, and then you know how your ears prick? So I've stood there at night and you'll hear the noise and you think, where, you know, my ears don't prick like to a bedroom or to his kitchen or his laundry bathroom area, you know. So it's just weird noises that are happening in there now.
Yeah.
You know, it's totally empty. It's sort of sad, you know, because I know he's still in there. You know, he hasn't come over and seen me, you know, because he has a few times. I wake up in the middle of the night and he's standing at the end of my bed. It sort of scares me. And it's like, oh my God, oh Roy, it's just you. Thank God, you know. I'll just put some clothes on. You know.
Well, you are looking for a boyfriend, Linda. There you are. Okay, look, let's.
A living one would help, Mike. A living one, preferably. You know, I don't have a high, long list of attributes that I'm looking for in a boyfriend, but living would be one of them.
Well, I think you're setting.
I'd like him to be breathing.
You're setting the bar too high. You're too fussy, Linda. Come on.
I know.
So let's have a look at Dinner with an Angel.
Oh gosh, please do, because I need to cry now.
I won't say anything about this. Just watch this beautiful encounter. I know skeptics would say ho-hum, you know, rubbish. But I don't think we're that type of people here. It's a beautiful story. Let's have a look at this and we discuss after. Here we go.
One of the hardest Thanksgivings I ever have had was Thanksgiving after I was divorced. Waking up for Thanksgiving, realizing that nobody had invited us to their home. The only food we had in the home were 3 hot dogs, and it was an overwhelming feeling of what have I gotten into, and how am I going to get out of this? I was down. I really felt despair.
Ivy put on a brave face for her children and took them to a local park, hoping that the boys would have a fun day, even if they couldn't have a real Thanksgiving dinner.
Coming back from our little picnic, though, I can remember the boys saying, "Mom, we're so hungry." And I knew there was absolutely no money, no food, nothing. I don't think I've ever felt so alone as I did coming back, wondering, how are we going to do this? How am I going to do this?
But as she started up the stairs to her apartment, something incredible occurred.
Honey! And this little old lady came out of the bottom apartment, and she says, "Oh, honey,
I cooked Thanksgiving dinner for you and the boys."
And I'm just looking at her. I'd never seen her before. It was just a complete stranger.
Oh, no, we couldn't impose.
But the woman was so insistent that they join her for dinner that Ivy couldn't refuse.
Okay. Thank you so much.
The woman's invitation was a prayer answered. Entering the apartment, Ivy felt immediately at home.
And it was all dimly lit. and the kitchen table was just loaded with food, and she was just so incredibly sweet.
See, we're gonna have to carve the turkey.
Her presence was like electricity. She had a sparkle in her eyes. There was life in her. You know how in the presence of some people you feel so absolutely comfortable? That was what she created that evening for us. Food, yes, lots of it. But for me, and the loneliness that I felt, what she gave to me was unconditional love, and it was just one of the most special evenings that I have ever spent in my whole life.
As Ivy and her sons were leaving, the neighbor presented them each with a gift.
Thank you so much.
But they also left with something they desperately needed.
Food, loads of leftovers. I mean, we had food for a week. If you can compare how I started in the morning with that total feeling of despair and loneliness and not good enough, to ending up feeling I'm okay, I'm worthwhile, I'm a good mom, it was a miracle.
The unexpected act of kindness had given her a new lease on life. But the next day, Ivy was in for an even bigger surprise. This Thanksgiving was not just a random act of kindness by a thoughtful neighbor.
I got all my containers to take them down to my new friend, and went down there and knocked on the door, and there was no answer. And I looked through the windows, and the place was absolutely dark and not one piece of furniture in there. I mean, even today I get goosebumps when I think back on just seeing that empty apartment. And I was like, uh-oh, something's going on here.
Shocked and confused, Ivy immediately contacted the apartment manager.
Yeah, what can I do for you?
And I go, where's the little old lady that was in that apartment?
15's been vacant for 10, 12 weeks now.
And I said to him, no, you don't understand. I had dinner there last night, Thanksgiving dinner. And he gave me this weird look, like maybe I should be in an institution or a hospital.
Ivy, are you feeling okay?
And I can remember just looking at him, absolutely knowing that a miracle had happened in my life. And I just thanked him, turned around, and walked up those steps to my apartment.
Oh, honey, I cooked Thanksgiving dinner for you and the boys, but...
As she returned to her home, Ivy began going over the events of the previous evening in her mind. And suddenly she realized the woman had known personal things about her that she couldn't possibly have known, like her favorite food.
Potato salad?
And the fact that she worked in a doctor's office.
Do you like your job at the doctor's office?
Yeah. How'd you know?
Well, I just know.
I often wonder why I didn't pick up at the actual dinner that this was an angel.
Well, we're gonna have some good food here.
I think one of the most important things about my dinner with an angel is that out of my 57 years of living on this earth, that 1.5 hours of being loved unconditional has changed my life so drastically. Can you imagine what it would be like if us earth angels gave some of that unconditional love away? It can make a total difference.
Thank you so much.
There we are. Hold
I'm just reaching for the tissues again.
Hold them back.
Oh my God, that's so gorgeous. You know, I just want to make a joke. Why didn't they make this into a Hallmark movie? You know? Where she's standing at that door and she's got that good-looking guy, just the puppy dog eyes, just she's talking to him. That should have been their connection where they had this moment of Hallmark bliss, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I should be writing Hallmark stories, I tell you. But anyway, let's just get this serious now. There's a few things that I've got on my list. Oh my God, after I wiped my eyes, because that was just so gorgeous. Okay.
And feel free to comment, by the way, people. Let us know your thoughts
please.
on
If
this.
you've got something that you know about this or you got a question regarding it, please ask away. You've
or a
got some
similar
professionals
experience.
Here. Okay. The first one I want to know about is the bowls.
The bowls.
She took the bowls home.
Yeah.
The bowls. She had the bowls.
Yeah.
You know, if she was sitting in that interview and she said, look, here's the bowl that the lady gave me, oh my God, that would have been me going through 2 boxes of tissues. Yeah, I hope that she's keeping those bowls and that she's got them in the glass cabinet somewhere so no one else can even put their fingerprints on them. You know, you're sending them off to the police forensics department to get them fingerprinted to see if, the angel left fingerprints on it. How gorgeous would that be? Oh, my God, Linda, don't talk about your ex-employer.
We can't find no other fingerprints, only yours, madam.
Well, that's exactly what it would be, yes. So the bowls, I had an issue with those bowls. I also had an issue where she's talking to that guy and I was thinking, oh, please make this a romantic story. You know, she's vulnerable. She needs a white knight on horseback. Oh, God, Hallmark moment, but it didn't eventuate. So anyway, we'll get off that one. But what I did actually want to discuss, because someone's asked me this week because I was telling them about it, and I've actually shown it to one of my friends before airtime tonight, and they said, is this a ghost or is this an angel? So let me go there with something about ghosts, okay, not spirits, ghosts. Ghosts generally hang around, like my neighbour Roy across the road. He stays because he's looking after his house. He doesn't look after me, and he doesn't certainly look after any other neighbours in this street.
Give him a chance, Linda.
No, he won't, because ghosts don't have that capacity, Mike.
Yeah.
Ghosts are, let's just go there, they're self-centred little selfish little buggers, okay? Because they're so consumed by their own thought processes that they can't fathom being compassionate or empathetic to others, okay? So let's just say that was a ghost like Roy who knows that he died. So he's just staying because he's passionate about his house and he wants to know what's happening with his house. In the scenario where it's someone like Shirley, the ghost Shirley, that came to my house for 3 days who did not know she'd died, they again cannot fathom the concerns, worries, dramas or issues of another person because they're so self-centered around, it's that tunnel vision of that perception of what happened when they died, that they can't fathom to look after somebody else.
Right.
So in my professional opinion of doing this for over 50 odd years, talking to ghosts, that's not a ghost because she would never have cooked a meal for somebody else. She would never have been asking questions about how are you? How is your job at the doctor's surgery going? Here's some gifts to take home for your boys. She would never have done anything like that if it had been a ghost. So therefore, it wouldn't be a spirit. It could be a spirit guide. It could be a guardian angel. It could be just one of the thousands and thousands of the angels up there.
Yeah.
It could also be one of the hierarchy archangels that's come down. We don't need to know who it was.
No.
But we can take the fact of that being a ghost off the equation because ghosts are self-centered in their own perception and awareness. But at the end of the day, this thing was looking after her. So therefore, it is an angel.
Yeah.
It is. I thoroughly believe in this story because I have heard of other similar stories over the years, and it's that synchronicity. That synchronicity that you cannot deny because we haven't discussed it and it wasn't mentioned, but there is so many synchronicities in that story.
Yeah.
If she did live up that staircase, you look at where that other unit was, right at the bottom. So it was inevitable that she would walk past room 15. That's a synchronicity.
Yeah.
The fact that she was there at that specific moment of when that lady came out and said, oh, by the way, I made you dinner. But that's a synchronicity that you can't dispute here.
Right.
The synchronicity of it being on, no, he said Valentine's Day. Here I am still stuck in warm-up moments. Thanksgiving, you know, the synchronicity of that in itself. So there's all these factors that if this was a ghost, now I can tell you, Roy does not come over and say to me anymore, Happy Christmas, Happy New Year. Oh, it's Easter today, Linda. Hope you have a great Easter. He doesn't do that because he's no longer got that sense of time.
Right.
So ghosts don't know Thanksgiving. They don't know time at all. Angels, however, do.
Right. Yeah.
So there you go. There's my theory on it, Mike.
So let me read you what Joanne says. She said, I had a weird experience during lockdown in Melbourne. Not long after lockdown happened, I was out one night and my boys were being babysat. When I got home, the babysitter said a man and his young daughter had knocked on the door and offered her a bag of groceries. All he said was he was doing it for some people in the street due to the lockdown and said he lived across the road. I asked her what he looked like and I have no idea who this man and child was. The groceries were some cans of tuna, chocolate, biscuits, etc. I found it strange. Not sure to this day who it was. Maybe a Samaritan. Very, very interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
I think,
absolutely.
I always like to ask the question. I know we're surrounded by guardian angels and angels.
Yeah.
But what is it that, and who chooses that an angel should manifest in human form and do this physical stuff? Because not everyone gets that opportunity. Why was this woman chosen to have this physical experience?
She's not the only divorcee that's just left her husband and is homeless with kids.
Yeah. So why her? This would really interest me. And there's 1,000 reasons why.
Of course there are.
It could actually just simply boil down to the contract that was made coming before the earth plane. It could be as simple as that, to experience that, to get this message out. Or it could be a host of other reasons. It's just a fascinating story. And
was the story about her?
Yeah.
It could have been about her kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they would have grown up and told people about it too, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah.
It could have changed their life path to when they're 50 years old, they may make some life choice based on the belief that they obtained during that experience.
Yeah.
So, as you said, Mike, there's a million possibilities.
Yeah.
So we can't judge it because we'll go insane.
Yeah.
So you've just got to sit there and we just have to say a couple of words which are allow the universe to do what it does because everything happens for a reason.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And as soon as you don't have to know the reason why that happened specifically to her, out of all the women who've been divorced with kids and they're living on the street, you just hand it over to the universe and you say, you know what, I don't need to know. I'm not that egotistical to know. But for whatever reasons you're doing it, thank you for allowing me to be a part of it and to know about it.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we start giving thanks, we're being gratitude, that's when the true magic of the universe starts to create.
Yeah. And I think we should look out for these small little things, small details, like it could be anything, like, holy crap, I've forgot my wallet and I've got to get home and I need the bus fare money. What the hell? Otherwise it's a long walk, and just enough bus fare or train fare money is lying there in the gutter somewhere. You know?
Or someone will say, oh, here's your fare, I'll pay for it.
Yeah.
Why were they there standing next to you at that time?
Exactly.
Out of all the buses, out of all the streets, out of all the cities, why was it somebody who would be generous enough to say that unless they're working for the angels or they were an angel?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and
so
I think also, you see, this is like a secondary intervention, if you like. So, you know, because I quite often do this. If I see someone like that, I would say, I pay your fare. I'm not an angel by any stretch of the imagination, but perhaps my energy, my vibration is such that I can be used as an intercession to do that.
Well,
So they,
exactly, darling. How do we know? How many times over the years, you know, not that I'm egotistical, right? Because I don't do an action thinking of the reaction or the consequence or the reward for it, okay? But, you know, I go there with that, what happened on the train. I had to go into the city to see a doctor. I don't usually go into the city. It's like once every 2 years I'll catch a train into the city. So I'm standing there after the doctors on this long platform with probably 10 carriages about to enter the station. And I'm at the specific door amongst hundreds of people because it was so crowded. The door opened and this homeless man got off with a trolley. The trolley got caught in the platform to where the train is as a gap and he fell over. Everyone was laughing at him. So me being a first aid trainer at the time, I ran over to see if he was all right. And he said, oh, my God, my trolley's broken. And I just instantly said, how much? And he said, oh, $10. So I looked in my wallet and all I had was a 20. And I just, without hesitation, I just gave him the 20 and I said, well, this will cover you for a new trolley and here's $10, get yourself some food for the night. And I got on that train and I was actually thinking about that. The synchronicities, that specific time, you know, trains go through the city every 10 minutes on 8 platforms. So out of all those trains, out of all those platforms, out of all the times, and even out of all the doors that I could have stood out of sight of, why did he get out right in front of me at that specific time, that synchronicity, where I was the only one that helped him? I don't classify myself as an angel, but I was doing their work that day because for some reason my appointment was at that time where I would finish the appointment and be at the train station to see him. Whatever he was doing that time on that day, it finished or was about to start for him to be on that train where he would interact with me. So they do put us into the path of those that we need to help or they need to help us. And, you know, the egotistic side of it is you can't always say it's all about us. You know, we've got to think and sit there and say, well, maybe this isn't a story for me to take something from. Maybe it was where I was helping someone else. And that's where we become humbled. And that's where we get our true belief and our true faith in this universal force of creation and life on earth. And that ultimately is where we can take our ego out of the equation and just say, you know what, I allow and accept anything to happen in my life without judgment and accusation. And I'm willing to allow my life to unfold in accordance with what you guys want. Because if you can put me in that specific spot with a guy that needed me that day, I can trust you with my own life as well.
And
if my life ends tomorrow, I know that whatever I've done before tomorrow, there was a purpose for it. You know?
I mean,
that's just how I
agree
life.
with Jeff as well. He says there's no coincidences. No, it's quite correct.
There's no coincidences.
No.
There are no ironies and no coincidences ever. So
And
thank you, Jeff, for saying that.
I'll tell you what, there's it should still be up on YouTube, and it's about a guy who does a synchronicity walk. And if you just Google in synchronicity walks and read up on it, when you look at this, you know there's no coincidence. Everything has
there are no
as
coincidences.
a design, as a plan.
Yes. Yes.
And I'd also want to say, you know, if you give with an open heart like you did, without the ego, without the expecting anything back with it, I can assure you within a short period of time, your life will change for the better.
Yeah.
Because you'll start
right.
receiving things that you never received before. from somewhere, somewhere out there.
And, this is where you've got to take your ego out and say, well, I've got 16 bills due next week. It would be nice to get the money for it. Yeah. Don't expect money to be the reward. The reward may be that you have good health, so then you can go out and get a job to pay those 16 bills. The reward might be that someone like my neighbour Craig, who's just been ringing me because he wants to mow my yard, see the reward? I don't have to mow my yard because my neighbour across the road comes and does it for me,
right.
Yeah. So you be grateful for the little things out there without expecting why or how it's going to come to us. Mm. And that's where that true magic of karma, because, hello, it is karma. What we do to others does come back to us.
Yeah.
So the more we're generous, the more we're kind, the more we're loving and just accepting, it does come back to us in the ways that we just don't, that we're not prepared for.
Yeah.
So don't expect it. You can't just sit there and say, oh, well, I've been a good boy this week. I'm on the Santa good list. If I go and put in the casket or the lotto or go and play at the casino, I'm going to win tonight. It doesn't work like that.
No,
it doesn't work like that. The way it will work is that you're walking out of that casino and you'll see somebody who smiles at you and makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Or you'll walk out and you'll open a door or something for a stranger who needs it. That is the reward, because money is not a reward, guys. And I cannot tell you, money is not the universal reward for a good job done on earth. We get better health, we get better relationships, we get better mental health, we get better relationships with our friends, neighbours, co-workers and partners. We get better. Your car will function better. So, you'll think, oh, my God, I haven't had the car serviced in 3 years and it's still running like a trooper. How the hell did that work?
Yeah.
Thank you. Because that's all we have to do is be gracious and give thanks for noticing and observing their work when it occurs. I've got the cockatoos flying over my house. I don't know if you can hear them.
No, I can't this end.
What a sign. The white birds. The white birds are flying over my house right now. A big flock of cockatoos come over. They do come over every night, but it's funny how I'm just talking about being gracious and here's a flock of white birds flying over my house. There's no synchronicities. I'm sorry, there's no coincidences, guys. There's no ironies. That was a sign for me because I could hear them. That's awesome. Thank you. See, always give thanks, guys.
Well, let's move on as we're heading up towards that time again. And we got a little thing here once again from the Long Island medium, Teresa Caputo.
Yay!
And this is
be aware, guys. She looks so different without the hair. She's 3 feet smaller.
Yeah. And this little experiment was on. It's to do with her brain, but it's pretty much with all psychic brains. And if you're doing remote viewing or whatever, working in that field. So let's have a look at this and see what you think.
Let's have a look at it.
Yeah.
So today, I'm at Dr. Amen's office, and he just recorded my brain while I was reading someone. Hopefully, I'll actually get some scientific proof that my brain doesn't work like everyone else's.
All right, so this is going to be the interesting one.
Uh-oh, the big reveal. Watch, there's nothing there. Did anything happen?
So let me explain this to you.
Okay.
This is how fast or slow your brain works.
Okay.
The little bit of yellow
Right.
is high activity.
Okay.
And blue is low activity.
Okay.
When you're channeling, your brain's just a little bit sleepier. People meditate to get that. And you're obviously in a different state, so you're really tuned into something. I'm Dr. Daniel Amen. I'm a brain imaging expert, and I'm the founder of Amen Clinics. The big thing we discovered is when she's channeling, energy in her brain drops, which means her own thoughts are sort of tuning out so she can tune in to the spiritual world.
So there is a definite difference in my brain when I'm channeling.
Completely different. Your brain is obviously doing something special.
Thank you.
My brain just works differently. And you know what? I'm okay with that.
What I really loved was how healing it was for Kate. You helped her get to a better place, and that's powerful.
And that's why I do what I do.
I honestly don't think it's gonna change a thing. I mean, because the skeptics are still gonna be skeptical.
Thank you so much. Hope to see you soon.
And at the end of the day, I'm still gonna talk to dead people.
Now I gotta do something with this hair. Oh, God.
So there we are. And you know what?
She's such a character.
It's
What a lover, you know?
my wife actually says this to me, you know, after I've done a reading, don't forget to put your brain back in, because it's very true. I kind of, when I do it, it's I just shift out, you know, gone. When I do the remote viewing, it's the same thing. You just, you're gone. With the healing, you're not there sometimes. And yeah, it really, the configuration of your brain really does alter. But you must remember to put it back in again, because I do have a tendency to be forgetful after a reading. So yes, and this is to do with her, but I think all people doing channeling, this would be the same thing. You get rid of your thoughts. Yeah.
One thing with me, Mike, you know, if ever you're coming over to Australia, which won't be anytime soon. Oh, God, but if ever you're sitting here, we'll be having a conversation and all of a sudden, just out of the blue, I'll just go, knock, knock, are yous on?
Yeah.
That's me changing from talking to you to consciously being aware of them so I can talk to them. You know, so, you know, it happens every time I have people here. I just tune out from you and I start talking to them because they're always talking to me. So, you know, it's like having three people in the conversation here right now, you know. So I'll be talking to you and say, knock, knock. Are you listening? Yeah. Oh, okay. So I know just from talking to you to that 2 or 3 seconds later, something does happen within me because you could talk and I don't hear you.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Like Kim was over the other morning and she's sitting there with her arms crossed and she says, are you talking to me? And I said, no. Because then I realised that she wasn't part of the conversation, you know. And I said, well, what did you say? And she said, I've been talking for the last 3 minutes, but you've been listening to them.
Yeah.
So with what happened with this Long Island medium girl, I love it a bit, you know. She's such a character, she's got longer nails than she has hair. Well, look, I'm starting to get there too. My nails are growing again. But oh my God, I'm nothing on her because she's just such a character. Yeah. But for her to have that scientific proof of what does occur with us, with our brains, no one scientific can dispute that. You know, you can't dispute it. I've had quite a few MRIs over my lifetime, and people are amazed that I'll get onto the bed and they slide me into the big cylinder with the noises, and I go to sleep because people say to me, how can you sleep through all that noise and you're in this little claustrophobic little thing and you've got this helmet thing on your head? How can you go to sleep? And you say, because I meditate and I start talking to them. So for her to actually, for that doctor, not her, but that doctor who's the scientist here, for him to say that she goes into this meditative state, I thoroughly believe it because it happens to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was doing a reading the other day and I was at the house and it was a long reading. It was about, well, it was over 2 hours, 2.5 to 3/4 hours. And she said, boy, she said, don't you get tired? I said, well, not really. I said, because soon as you ask a question, this was a different reading. As soon as you ask the question, I hear the first bit, and then it's like when you just stare at something and you can hear and see everything going on around you, but you pay no attention because something else is coming in already. And so then I give the answer, and I really haven't heard the whole of the question.
That's right, because this is the thing that people don't understand, Mike.
Yeah.
You know, if I ask a question right now, let's just say I'm going to talk to them, okay, the people that are around me. If I'm going to ask her, I'll start a new question. Should I go early to school to get my daughter? 10 words. As soon as I have the intention of that first word, should, they'll come in and say yes.
Yeah.
Because they already know the intention of the 10 words, so they don't have to listen through the whole thing. Yeah. Should I go early to pick up my daughter from school? Yes.
Yeah.
They'll, as soon as I say should, yes.
Yeah.
Because there's to them, they already know the question before we put it into those words that take 10 or 12 seconds to say.
That, Linda, happens so often when we do table tipping. They say, I said, well, ask another question. And they go like this. And as soon as they go, the table goes, boom, yes or no.
Absolutely, because they know it before we say the words.
Well, they said,
yes.
She said, I haven't asked anything yet. I said, yeah, but your subconscious mind has already.
That's right.
Already
your subconscious mind has already put that intention out there of what you wanted to ask, and they already hear it.
Yeah.
Wow, it's interesting, isn't it?
Super.
Yay! I love it. Well, all right, let's get on to
the last one.
We've done that one. Concerta? Are we going to look at Concerta?
Bertoldi. The work of Concitta Bertoldi.
Concitta Bertoldi, yeah. Let's go and have a look at her, darling, because, it's 8:20 here now.
Yeah, I've got to fly as soon as we're done.
I know. So let's get on to the next video.
Here we go.
Your mother is extremely happy where she is. Before she left, she was angry. She was very disappointed. She didn't want to go, and she didn't want to leave her family. So she's telling me to tell you, please don't remember that. She's very happy about your choices. Did you recently get married, or... Because I hear about your husband, and she's talking about him. She wants you to know he's a really nice guy. And she knows that sometimes, and who's on the computer all the time, him or you?
He is.
Okay. And she wants you to, if you'll forgive me, and I'm not saying this to be too judgmental, she wants you to lighten up a little bit. Wait, 1 second. There's a woman's name that she's trying to tell me. Oh, it's E. Ellen. Ellen. Who is it, honey?
Her sister-in-law, her best friend who also died.
Right, she's with her. Thank you, Nancy. That's pretty good, huh?
My son.
Oh, I'm so sorry, honey. Are you the mom? Okay, honey. Now, would you please tell me why he's showing me a photograph that's in a frame that's a very, very odd frame? It doesn't look like a frame that's just plain. I'm looking at a frame that almost looks like it has, you know what he's talking about?
I think so.
I'm glad, because he says that picture is one of his favorites, but the frame is very odd as I look at it. It's not a normal boop, boop, boop frame. You know what I'm trying to say? It has something on it.
It's a license plate.
What is it?
A license plate.
Yay, that's it. It has a license plate, but it's his picture in there, right? And you have it framed.
Him and his brothers.
Him and his brothers, okay. Okay, but is there a Jean, darling, or a Joan, or a Jane? Yes, I'm hearing your name with a female J. Jean, Joan, something like that. Anyway, I want to put that down. So, do you know who it is, baby? No? Okay.
Maybe my partner, Janine.
Oh, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Then they're sending, you're Janine? That would be it, sweetie. Yes, okay. Now, I'm asking you only because they're showing me you by a casino. Are you guys about to go by a casino? Are you about to travel someplace where there is slot machines and stuff like that? Because they're saying, they're showing me you traveling. I see you traveling and having a wonderful time. And they said, just put your troubles behind you because you work like crazy. They show me that you are a work maniac. And they're telling me this is the time to just put your troubles behind you, go to the casino, and let it all hang out and have some fun. Okay? Now, I have your mother and father here, but I also have some parents. Obviously, somebody belongs to you that's here talking. Somebody is showing me what looks like a German Shepherd. Who had this German? You. All right. Did the German Shepherd pass away? Yeah. That's why they have your German Shepherd. Please know that even the dog, which is the German Shepherd, is with them and not lost, not forgotten. The other thing I want to mention that they show is a pair of pearls. Something to, you know what that is? Very good. With all my love, the pearls. They show me the pearls. Your mother is with other people, lots of them, tells me that she's so proud of you. She said something about a car. Did you just get a car? You did. She said, good luck with the car, baby. She saw you there. She's telling me she's in the car. She says something about it having something in it. I'm not quite sure. Do you have something of your mother's in the car that you keep there? Oh, good. That's why she's saying it then, because she says, I see the car, see what you keep in there. And she also says to tell you that you, when you were born, I don't know if you were the first girl or the
twin.
Oh, then you came out first? That's why. So you have a twin sister?
Yes.
And you were the first one to come out?
Yes.
That's why she's saying it. Anyway, she's telling me she can breathe again. She couldn't breathe at the end. And the fact is that really tortured you, that you could see her struggling like that. And she's saying, tell my daughter that it's paradise. The paradise of God is beautiful. And she's with parents of hers that she loves very, very much. And that you would be happy to know that they're all together. They're all together. And you've kept a box of pretty pieces of jewelry that belong to her that she's really glad that you've kept. And she keeps telling me you're going to be all right, darling. You're a good girl, and you're going to be all right. And that she loves you all. Okay, sweetheart? Thank you, babe. You're so pretty. Pretty thing. Wow. Your mother-in-law has a sense of humor. Did she or was she interested in tea leaves or tarot cards?
She drank a lot of tea.
Okay. I feel like that's what she's showing me. But she's teasing about it. Like it was like, I want to say she was addicted.
When she passed, we started cleaning out the closets. We found boxes and boxes of tea bags, Lipton tea.
Okay, then that's what it is. See, I have no idea what any of this means.
And we were laughing about it.
Oh,
Her granddaughters and I, we were hysterical.
Okay, that's what it is, honey. She has a sense of humor, and she's laughing as she tells me. And she said that it would be something that would identify her, so obviously it does, and that turns me on.
So there we are. Brilliant medium, this
Beautiful,
lady.
hey?
I've seen some stuff that she does, and she's very good with names and birth dates as well, actually.
Yep.
So, she's top drawer.
So what I want to go to is one of the Sally Chaplin's questions.
Mm-hmm.
Sally says, I've seen a ghost in a previous house I owned, but why can't I see them in other people's houses when others can see them? That question... Funnily, I missed it.
Yeah,
You
I
probably missed it
yeah,
too.
Yeah, strange.
But now it's relevant because when we do mediumship shows, a lot of people don't understand what information we get. It's only what the ghost wants to let us know. We just can't know everything. So they tell us what they want to disclose to the other person. So, Sally, the reason why you see a ghost in your house is because you live there, they want to interact with you. But when you go to someone else's house and you see a ghost in their house, that ghost does have the capacity to decide whether it shows itself to you, pushes something against you or pinches you, throws an item through the air in front of you. It's their decision and their choice. And you've got to remember here too, you're just a visitor there. So they don't use that energetic power because it is a big source of energy that they have to create. They just don't do it for anyone in particular. They'll only do it when it's needed, like Owen before, trying to get the attention of Roddy Pipper.
Yeah.
Piper, okay? So, that's why I can go to someone's house and I can sit there for 16 hours and you don't see anything. But the minute I'm out the door, chairs will fly through the room, curtains will open, the lights will flicker on and off, and you'll hear the woo happening because they just don't want to show themselves in front of me.
Yeah.
And it's so annoying. Because, you want to, especially if you're getting paid to go and do a house investigation and they say, oh, come and clear out the ghost. The ghost is sitting in the corner doing, raspberries at you. Da. I'm not showing to you because you'll be gone in a few hours.
Yeah.
And that's true because the characteristics and personalities of a person are the same when we pass. That's why with Roy next door to me, why do you think I see him all the time? Because he knew me. He felt secure with me because I was looking after him when he was sick. He's not going to appear to 16 people in my backyard having a barbecue because he was very shy. You know, he's a very private man. So he's still got the same characteristics and personality as when he was when he was alive. So that's why, Sally, when you go to someone's house or when you go to a mediumship show like this lady is here, the ghost or the spirit has to tell us the information for us to pass on to that person sitting in the audience or that person in the house. Okay? We just don't intuitively pick it up. It's them sharing that information with us intuitively that makes mediumship work.
Yep.
Yeah, if that clarifies it.
Yeah. Super. Lynda, we might finish on time here. I've got a skedaddle.
Absolutely.
As they say.
We can show Shirley McClain another time because even if she dies, I know that she'll reincarnate because she's had so many past lives.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a very short clip. I think we got time just to show it and leave it people for food for thought. Let's just show this very short clip of Shirley McClain. Here we go. Oops, hang on. That's the wrong one. That's the one.
Okay, we were doing the movie really for nothing. You know how independent filmmaking is now.
Right.
It's a real exercise in how you react to materialism. We deferred our salaries. We got paid something and then deferred the rest so that the bond company would give us an okay to begin. And then it all started happening, these experiences.
Your agent didn't want you to do the movie.
Nobody did.
It was shot on location in the Canary Islands. What did you know about the Canary Islands before you got there?
I didn't know anything, but as I was on Iberia Airlines going to do this movie I knew we had no budget for, its imprimatur was the only flight that flies to the lost continent of Atlantis. I thought that's right up my alley.
I've known you for a long time, so let me just bring people up to date here. You are someone who truly believes you have lived past lives.
Oh, no question.
One of those past lives?
Probably many in Atlantis.
In Atlantis. So when you got off the plane, did it feel like going to any airport, or did something strike you?
Struck me later. But let me just say, Matt, you know, when you get older, the short-term memory has its problems. I've got incredible long-term memory. Now it's going not only to my childhood this time around, it's going to other lifetimes a long time ago.
Help me understand, because I've never actually asked you this. When you start to have these feelings or these thoughts connecting with a past life, are they subtle moments or do they hit you like a brick?
With me, it's subtle. It's kind of emotional picture facts. You know you've felt this somewhere else. By the way, I've had past life experiences in damn near every country I've been to. And you know I'm a guerrilla traveler. Love to travel. New streets in India, new temples in Russia. I can't even think of all the places. That's why I travel. So I was so interested in understanding who I am, what I come from. It's very important to me to know that I have been other cultures.
So there you are in the Canary Islands shooting this movie. Each day you didn't know if the movie could continue shooting the next day because the finances were so tough. What did you learn and remember or feel about your past life in Atlantis while you were there?
Well, lots of things started happening, not just to me, but to the other cast members. We'd be holding a glass and it would break. We had trouble adjusting to the time change. I went on a little trek on one of the mountains there, turned around, and there was this huge human, about over 8 feet tall, golden, looking at me. I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, this is what hit me. I'm looking at another sense of time. He is confused about where he is, and I don't know what he is. I'm not confused about where I am, but I know he came from another time. That happened to me.
When you connect with a past life, Shirley, is it comforting or can it be upsetting?
If it's a past life for which you are trying to balance your karma today, it can be upsetting. I mean, if you killed somebody in a past life and you feel real guilty about loving them now, you know.
Has that ever happened?
Oh, yeah.
So there we are. Oops. Lynda, we'll have to let the good people discuss that.
Can I just go there with one thing in closing, guys? Matt Lauer, I watched him on the Good Morning Show or whatever show he used to do when I lived in America. He's one of the few unique reporters out there who actually does believe in this stuff. So for him to sit there and ask Shirley McClain these questions, he's actually got a personal interest in this. So I am so proud that there are people in the mainstream media who do believe in the unknown of the paranormal. There you go.
Okay.
Good on you, Matt Lauer. Yeah.
Alrighty, guys, girls, we have to leave it there. I am really pushed. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Carry on the conversation. We'll be back next week with some
same time, same channel,
same everything.
Yep.
All right. Have a good one.
See you next time, guys. Have a great morning, good evening, good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.